Hello and welcome to Navarra for the final race of the penultimate round of the 2022 Spanish Formula 4 Championship. My name is Lee O'Gorman. Wonderful to have you again for this final race of the weekend. A nice balmy day in the Circuit de Navarra for this last event. 25 minutes plus one lap, so a full point scoring race is ahead of us. And a couple of little changes coming not just into this weekend, but also into this race as well. For those of you who've been paying keen attention so far this weekend, there was an incident in race 2 this morning at the beginning of the race between Riccardo Escotto and Daniel Mavitov. And Riccardo Escotto, following the incident, has been excluded from the start of this race. We will have 29 starters today, not just for the incident, but I am led to believe there was a bit of an incident following their incident. Hint, hint, hint. So no Riccardo Escotto for Cram Motorsport today. We have 29 starters. Also, as mentioned in this morning's race, but worth reiterating now, yesterday, for the first long race of the weekend, we had an incident with several cars go off and a safety car was called. Kirill Smal was seen on screen overtaking Nicholas Solov for what was second position under really what was believed to be full yellow and safety car procedures at the time. They'd not caught the safety car, but apparently they passed a marshal post where a green flag was being waved, despite it being yellow across the circuit. Smal saw the green flag and overtook Solov. Because Smal did legitimately pass a green flag, it was decided to not penalise him. The position change was kept, and so Smal, we really did think was going to finish or get a penalty after yesterday's race. That was held, so he finished second. A less adventurous race today. He finished third, as we see the grid coming on screen now, and it is a very, very different order from what we would normally see. Spanish Formula 4 debutant Noah Stromstedt is continuing his very, very impressive run this weekend. He's grabbed a pole position in his first Formula 4 outing. He was actually fastest in FP1 on Friday and was second fastest in FP2 yesterday morning. So, and also a highest on the grid order for Christian Ho for MP Motorsport as well. He's going to be starting on the front row. While Championship Challenger, and it's very, very, very loose at this point, Championship Challenger Hugh Barter starts third on the grid, while Championship leader Nicholas Solov is starting down in ninth. And I'll go through the permutations in a few moments' time. Effectively the lead at the moment, there is 98 points available, and 89 points is the gap between Solov and Barter. So Barter is really going to require a quite significant run of fortune if he is to take the title off of Solov. But we've seen stranger things. In theory, and I'm going to go through the points scenario now very quickly, and this is with thanks to the folk at F1's feeder series. At the end of this race, effectively, Barter needs to gain at least 18 points on Solov to take the championship into the final round. If Solov finishes P5, he'll be a champion this afternoon, whatever Barter's result. If Solov finishes P6 and Barter wins without scoring the fastest lap, Solov will be champion. If Solov finishes P7, P8, P9 and Barter doesn't win the race, Solov will be champion. If Solov finishes P10 with the fastest lap and Barter doesn't win the race, Solov will be champion. If Solov finishes P10 and Barter finishes P2 without the fastest lap, Solov will be champion. If Barter finishes P3 or lower, Solov will be the champion. I hope you took all that in. I'm probably going to forget it in a few moments' time, so I might need people to remind me in the chat. There's Jesse Carrasquara, also very, very good qualifying for him in Q2 on his return to Spanish Formula 4. This is only his second round of the season, don't forget. He raced for Campos at the opening round of Portimao. And they're going to go through some driver changes in a few moments' time. As we see on screen now, George Kelstrup George Kelstrup was running fourth for much of today's race, but then got penalised. He actually jumped the start. He started from 7th, was 4th pretty quickly, got a drive-through penalty, and the penalty came really, really, really late. The penalty came pretty much at the end of the race, and it dropped Kelstrup down to, if I remember off the top of my head, it was 19th or 18th position. That was, of course, following a safety car period, so the field was still relatively close and bunched up together. So that was quite a heavy penalty for Kelstrup, but he did gain quite an advantage from jumping the start. And people now clearing the grid, and we shall be getting underway with this race in a few moments' time. Slight delay in the beginning of this race. There have been delays in other races earlier on today, which is kind of cascading into this. And the marshal at the front of the order just waiting to get this formation lap underway. The lights go out, 15 seconds. She is going to leg it. And the car's led by Noah Stromstead will get moving. Strong winds today, you can probably hear it over the microphone. And we get the green flag and the field for today's race. As mentioned, Ricardo Escoto is excluded, so no Cram Motorsport entry for this final race. So starting last is Daniel Mavliatov for GRS with a 1 minute 43.053. 28th on the grid is Santalok Racing's Theo Jensen. Neil Coolan's a debutant driver from Monlau Motorsport. He gets away from 27th, while Ricardo Grazia and Alvaro Garcia make up the 13th row. 25th on the 24th on the grid. Ricardo Escoto, I should say, was originally 25th, but of course not here anymore. Vladislav Ryabov, 24th on the grid for GRS. He has on the 12th row of the grid alongside a Marcus Flack. Well, Jeff Mackils for Monlau Motorsport will start from 22nd. Maxim Markochelski, 21st for DriveX. Into the top 20, Julius Dennison, a debutant for Formula de Campinos, 1 minute 41.226 for him. Very, very, very close field, by the way. The top 23 drivers all within 1 second of pole position. Max Meyer, 19th on the grid, Formula de Campinos, just behind Gail Julian for DriveX, who starts 18th. Theo Neal will get away from 17th on the grid for Santalok Racing, 1 minute 41.083, while Miran Pinkasol for MP Motorsport will get away from 16th on the grid. Daniel Nogales has scored points on 2 occasions this weekend. Very good effort for him. Seems that things are finally clicking. He gets away from 15th. Just behind Bruno Del Pino and Manuel Espirito Santo, who starts 13th. Sandoval Interpuvazak gets away from 12th. It's his best qualifying of the weekend by far. While Kirill Small will start 11th, his worst qualifying of the weekend by quite a bit. Into the top 10, Robert DeHaan from Monlau Motorsport, a 1 minute 40.766. He's just behind championship leader Nicholas Solov, who starts 9th, while Sebastian Gravland has an excellent qualifying effort for him to get away from 8th position. Valerio Rinacella for MP Motorsport will start from 7th position, while Timotheus Kucharczyk, who is 3rd in the championship, will start 6th in this race. George Kelstrup will be hoping not to repeat his error of this morning. He gets away from 5th, while Jesse Carrasquada gets his best, by far, qualifying start of the season. In only his 6th start of the season, he gets away from P4. Hugh Barter, championship challenger, 3rd on the grid. It's a 1 minute 40.463. He's had 2 wins this weekend. He'll be hoping to make it 3 out of 3. While on the front row of the grid, pulling into the left-hand side of your screen in the orange-coloured car, the MP Motorsport entry, Christian Ho, 1 minute 40.446. While pole position man on the right-hand side of your screen, Noah Stromstead, a debutant this weekend for Campos Racing in the white and black entry, at 1 minute 40.377. And we are ready to go as the field takes in its last few spots. Waiting now for the green flag at the back, which is waving. The engines begin to rise So lights count to 5 and out, and it's a bad start for Stromstad. Christian Ho is into the lead. Hugh Barter is going to be there in second place as well, but he's going to be challenging for the lead to see and if he can get maximum points this time around. And he is on the outside line. It is Hugh Barter trying to make a move for the lead, and he does, but he goes off the circuit, locks his wheels. Christian Ho is going to get on the inside line. I think he's going to take the lead back. Carasquara is in third position. Awful start for poleman Stromstad. He's showing down in 17th position. Christian Ho leads Hugh Barter in second place. You've got Carasquara in third. Barter looks down the inside of the lead, but doesn't quite make the move. Kelstrup, by the way, has taken third place from Carasquara. Kacharczyk is in fifth position, and Barter does take the lead. Barter goes through the chicane and takes the lead of Christian Ho, and fantastic move. But will he be able to hold it? Christian Ho is currently also under pressure from George Kelstrup, who's looking to get by into second place, but he can't just quite yet. And coming down the back straight, there was an incident between several drivers this morning. Christian Ho trying to go around the outside, does not get away through the right-hander. He's looking to really pressure Hugh Barter to try and take that lead back. Hugh Barter has been in this position quite a few times so far this season. He's taken his fourth and fifth wins of the season already so far this season. As we see Kacharczyk going down the inside of Carasquara, doesn't quite make the move there. Now looks to the inside to try and get down the next corner, but pulls out of that. While Christian Ho is now facing a little bit of pressure from George Kelstrup just behind. Hugh Barter continues to lead, as Kacharczyk now again going down the inside of Carasquara. That's not really working for him. And then we have a spin, and that is Carasquara. Oh, and a big accident, and one of the other drivers, I didn't quite see who it was, right into the front, and there's several of the cars who've been damaged heavily in that. That is going to be a safety car. That was quite a significant, and I have to say, scary incident. And I just do not quite see who that is. We'll see in a moment when the picture does become a little bit clearer. Carlo Grazia, we believe, was damaged in that. That is Miran Pingasov. I don't know why he hasn't pulled off. This car is quite clearly very heavily damaged. Also quite surprised we haven't had a safety car called yet, but the race for now continues. Barter continues to lead. And it's Christian Ho in second place from George Kelstrup. Solov is up to fourth position in all of that mess, coming out of the final corner onto the start-finish straight. Kacharczyk dropped down to fifth behind Solov. Rinnichala is currently sixth. If it stays like this, Solov will be the champion. Robert Dehaan is seventh place. Danny Nogales is eighth. To Sanapol for Pupusak ninth. Bruno Dalpino currently rounding out the top 10. There is a yellow flag out in that final corner. But brilliantly, it does look as... Oh, no, well, now we have a safety car. I was about to say that maybe we have had the stricken car of Carasquara cleared, but may still actually, that clearance may not be fully complete as of yet. Now, was there touch between Solov and Carasquara? It looks as if Solov, as Kacharczyk and Carasquara were battling and really backing the field up, Solov had taken a few positions, and he, that was unlucky, but also very lucky. Solov, I do believe, was involved in that. I think he was on the outside of Carasquara. I don't necessarily think it was a malicious accident by any stretch of the imagination, and I'd be surprised if there's any kind of comeback from that. It does look as if that maybe Carasquara had spun, unable to go to the outside line. And that, see, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Pingasov, who had a clearly damaged wheel, for some reason, rather than pull off the circuit and try and find a marshal's post, has gone off into the grapple trap. Absolutely ridiculous. You live and learn. And the safety car now at the front of the order, waiting for Hugh Barter to come along. Christian Ho just behind in third place. You've got George Kelstrup and running in third. Nicholas Sullivan in fourth place. And Timothy Skacarczyk is fifth. In the meantime, Marcus Flack and Max Markinchalski have both pitted. Lost quite a bit of time. I think they may have actually received minor damage in that final corner incident. There was quite a bit of bumping and scraping, particularly in the lower order field, as it was, as you might imagine, quite a bit of compression in a very short space of time. Timothy Skacarczyk, fifth place. We feel the Skacarczyk was really in the fight for second in the championship a round or two ago, but with Barter's success this weekend and the previous weekend at Model at Aragon, that run has been killed off for, to some degree. But Kirill Smal was catching Skacarczyk for third in the championship. I do think that really, if it stays as it is, Skacarczyk in fifth and Smal not scoring, this may help to go a long way to solidifying Skacarczyk's run to third in the championship. So, a reminder, if Solov finishes fifth or higher, it really doesn't matter what Hugh Barter does, he will win the championship. Solov is currently in fourth position. And it's been an interesting weekend for Solov. He hasn't looked as if he hasn't seemingly pushed overly hard for wins, and I think that's actually been a sensible, a very sensible attitude to take. Get the podiums, get the points, solidify the result. Everything else will take care of itself. But he's had that much success earlier on in the season. He did not need to waste efforts unnecessarily. I remember previously commentating on European Formula 3 when that was in action, and we had a similar scenario with Lando Norris, who, pushing to wrap up the title in the penultimate round, actually ended up crashing out unnecessarily. And brought the championship challenge to the final weekend. We really didn't need to. He still won the title. But sometimes a little bit of patience is what you need. You don't need to win every single race. You don't need to win every single round. Sometimes you just need to bag the points where you can, when you can. So this has been quite mature from Solov. May be going green somewhat soon. To give you a run down the order, Hugh Barter leads the race for Campos Racing. Christian Ho was leading, but Barter got through. Fantastic move through the chicane. George Kelstrup up to third, while Nicholas Solov is fourth place. Fifth is Timothy Skacarczyk. Valerio Rinicella is now sixth. Robert De Haan from Monlive Motorsport is in seventh. While Daniel Nogales, eighth place. Running in the points once again. Real improvement from Nogales this weekend. Tisanopol Interpuvizak is up to ninth, ahead of Bruno Lapino's the final points paying position. Kirill Smal for MP Motorsport is running 11th. He's had two podiums this weekend. Santalop Racing's Theo Neal in 12th, with Sebastian Gravlund is 13th. Max Meyer 14th, Gil Julian 15th, Vladislav Ryabov to 16th, Niels Kulin 17th, Jeff Mackill's 18th. Noah Stromstead, the poleman, disappointing start. He came 19th. Julius Dinesen is 20th. Theo Jensen 21st. Daniel Mavlyatov 22nd. Alvaro Garcia is 23rd. 24th is Ricardo Grazia. And last but not least, Manuel Espirito Santo 25th and running. And this race is about to get going once again. Minutes plus 1 lap remaining. The green flag waves. Hugh Barter gets a solid getaway. Christian Ho in second place. George Kelstrup not far behind, but Solov is going to be pressing Kelstrup to get into third place, and he has the inside line. But does he have the position? Yes, he does. Kelstrup is taken by Solov for third and fourth positions. Hugh Barter locked up significantly into turn 1, but Christian Ho wasn't really in a position to get by. Kacharczyk now in 5th place is looking to get by Kelstrup. Barter. Ho will be disappointed, of course, to have lost the lead at the start of the opening lap, but this really is by far his best performance I've seen from him in Spanish Formula 4. Kacharczyk going down the inside of Kelstrup, but did he actually make the move start to Sanibel Intrapuvasak under pressure too? So we got Barter, we got Ho, we got Solov, we got Kelstrup still ahead of Kacharczyk, but Kacharczyk really pressing hard down the inside, and this time he finally makes it work into 4th position. Kelstrup trying to fight on by Rinnicella going around the outside. That is fabulous. And Rinnicella's now going to try and take Kacharczyk as well in the inside of the final corner. Doesn't quite hold it through. Keeps to the outside. Kelstrup is still there. Behind them is Robert De Haan, who's looking to pick up a bunch of positions should there be an incident. But Robert De Haan is now under the rear wing of Kelstrup as they come down the start-finish straight. That was a terrible lap, unfortunately, for Kelstrup as the restart. Kacharczyk fighting off Rinnicella as they go into turn 1. Kacharczyk holds the position, and Robert De Haan has got past Kelstrup. Lock up from De Haan into turn 2. Kelstrup's there by the inside, and they hit! Kelstrup hits Robert De Haan, spins him around. And the Monlau Motorsport racer is not going to get out of that. His rear wheels are absolutely beached. The yellow flags are going to be flying. This is going to be another safety car because De Haan is beached. And I do wonder if that could also be a penalty coming Kelstrup's way. There's a warning as well. Miran Pingasov, as we see Robert De Haan disgusted, gets out of his Monlau Motorsport machine. Probably looking at the car thinking it actually looks fine. The only problem is it's beached, but it's too late. And that is Kelstrup, I believe. No, it's not. That is actually Stromstead. The pole man does look like he's got slightly deranged wheel. So Robert De Haan's on the inside, and Kelstrup, there's a point where you actually need to realise the position's gone. And actually, De Haan's right rear was quite deranged, to be frankly honest. That's not going to go anywhere. There is a point where you need to realise the position's gone. You can't keep continuing to go in full steam. And once again, the safety car leading the race. You've got Hugh Barter heading the order. Christian Ho running second, and Nicholas Solov in third position. Solov very much on his way to the side. Yeah, it is Stromstead. And very disappointing for Stromstedt. He was on pole position, has shown himself to be quite a very fast competitor, and a very, very promising one too. Ay, 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 boys. You're in a rush, but come on. Don't just plunk it. Yeah, well, it's I can guarantee you the Campos guys are looking at that going, oh, no, 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 no. No, no. Nicholas Olive, third in the race, started from 9th position. And actually he's gained quite a bit, primarily from the battling of others. The fighting and the feistiness, particularly from Kelstrup, Kucharczyk, Rinicella, etc. And De Haan has actually bunched up those behind him quite significantly. And it's really allowed Solov to just pick off people here and there without necessarily having to force through an overtake. It's very clever driving. And it has allowed him to get into the top 3. Eight minutes, 8 and 20 seconds plus 1 lap remaining. Stromstedt's car is cleared. We should also see De Haan's car cleared as well. Nope, not yet, but they're getting rid of it now. This will be dragged across. I think the entrance point is on the other side of the circuit. On the other side of the track, I should say. So once the field is by, that in theory should be a relatively quick extraction. No. Eight laps in the books. Their second safety car of this race. Safety car so slow. Yes, I think we're going to get a restart fairly quickly. It did look as if the safety car driver was maybe holding the field back slightly on the back straight. And I wonder if he's doing so to give time for this field to actually maintain or get a start this lap round. I swear I was seeing things. One of the drivers without a rear wing towards the back of the field. No regulation against that. It's only really if there's damage on your car that could present a danger to others. Well, that's going to be a pit lane, someone entering the pit lane either way as we get this race back underway. Hugh Barter with 5 minutes and 45 seconds plus 1 lap remaining. And the green flags wave. And you see Solov and Christian Ho going into turn 1. Ho somewhat asleep. But Solov gets by into second place and can't challenge back to get the position. Hugh Barker up ahead is locked. And Solov, forget what I said earlier on, is he going to go for the win? He's got the championship regardless if it stays like this. Kirill Smile, by the way, up to 6th position. I think he took George Kelstrup in the first turn. That's Christian Ho in third place. He's going to be under pressure from Timotheus Kacharczyk as they come down the back straight. Right now, Ho is closer to Solov than Solov is to Barter. Stisanopol Interprovzak is going there, and several cars flying off the circuit. It's T. O'Neill fighting at the lower end of the top 10, trying to find a way past Sebastian Gravlund. Barter really does have a significant lead at this point. 1.3 seconds, 4 minutes plus 1 lap remaining. There's Neil chasing Gravlund, who's chasing Nogales for 10th, 11th and 12th positions. Barter leads 1.4 seconds ahead of Solov, and Ho's 7/10ths behind in third place. Kacharczyk is 3/10ths behind. Christian Ho, and that is T. O'Neill, has taken Gravlund for 11th place. Now he's going to go after Danny Nogales to claim a points-paying position. Nogales will be doing his utmost to make sure that certainly doesn't happen. He's had 2 points finishes so far this weekend. He hasn't had a race weekend so far this season where he scored points right across the weekend. But Barter has built a significant gap. Solov looking in his mirrors to see where Ho is. Ho is tracking Kacharczyk just as well. That is Max Meyer in the Formula de Campagnos entry. Catching Sebastian Gravlund for 12th position, while monitoring Gail Julian just behind. Kacharczyk really hanging close to the rear of Christian Ho, looking to make a move, looking to get onto the podium. He's had a couple of fourth place finishes this weekend already. He wants to break that and get onto the podium. Kirill Smal, his challenger for third in the standings, is up to 6th, having run 11th earlier on. Kacharczyk really wants to build a bigger gap between the two of them. It's 49 points at the moment. Be quite happy to go into the next round with it 50 plus. Oh, and a little bit of a mistake there from Barter. As we see Kacharczyk trying to go around the inside, outside of Ho. And a fight just behind, also between Rinicella and Smal. Kelstrup there in 7th position in the white car. Smal trying its best to get past Rinicella. Barter, Solov, Kacharczyk, and Kacharczyk is through. He is taking Christian Ho. And Smal is ahead of Rinicella. But is that going to maintain as they come onto the back straight? Kacharczyk is fending off both Rinicella and Christian Ho. I think Smal has lost out in all of this as well. He's now in the melee. He's probably dropped down to 7th position, or sorry, 6th position. Kelstrup is right there. Oh, and a big off from Rinicella, but maintains it. Smal under pressure now from Kelstrup. Oh, goes wide, gets airborne onto the grass. Rejoins the circuit. And I think he's done quite a bit of damage to his suspension. There's no way he's gone away with that without damage. And he's pulling straight into the pit lane. He knows instantly something's quite wrong. And that could also be very, very damaging on one's back as well. We had actually, got to be honest, some relatively sedate races in races 1 and 2. This has been crazy. Ay, ay, ay. So, he gets launched over the curb. Ah, yeah, the suspension, the right front is instantly damaged, but he gets launched over the curb, and that is, I hope he's all right, because that can do some significant damage, a hit like that. Anyway, this is the penultimate lap of the race. Hugh Barter leads from Solov. Kaczarczyk is currently third. From Rinicella, Christian Ho down to fourth. George Kelstrup sixth. Sanabal Intrabuvasak is seventh. Bruno Lopino is eighth. Daniel Nogales is ninth. And T. O'Neill is 10th. As Barter really pushing hard still in these later stages. Rinicella not under anywhere near as much pressure as he was a few moments ago, though Christian Ho is still there. Christian Ho is looking in his mirrors. He's got George Kelstrup just behind. Kelstrup, meanwhile, and there's an investigation for Nicholas Solov regarding actions under the safety car and yellow flag procedure. If we hear more about that, we will let you know. But that is the message that is coming up on the race control board at the moment. Matters very little to Hugh Barter as he continues to lead. Solov there in second place. Timotheus Kaczarczyk is third. And locking up there is George Kelstrup, pushing to get by Christian Ho. No investigation at the moment for Kelstrup's collision with Robert De Haan. Barter looking to make it 3 from 3 for the first time this season. He's not got too long left. He's on the back straight as it stands at the moment. He has the fastest lap as well. This really actually has been a fantastic effort by De Haan this weekend. He's really hooked pretty much almost everything together. As we see Kaczarczyk going through and now coming towards the last couple of corners, and Hugh Barter takes the right-hander onto the start-finish straight, and it will be 3 wins from 3, and Solov gets congratulations from his mechanics on the pit wall. Provisionally, Nicholas Solov is the 2022 Spanish Formula 4 champion. Timotheus Kaczarczyk completes the podium, takes third place ahead of fourth Valeria Rinicella, Christian Ho fifth, and George Kelstrup sixth. Sanabal Intrabuvasak came home seventh, Bruno Lopino eighth, Daniel Nogales ninth, and Sebastian Gravland came home 10th place. And that is Gravland's first points finish of the season. For Barter, it's an almost perfect weekend. 3 wins, 3 fastest laps, 1 point paying pole position. The only thing he didn't get was pole for this race. That was taken by Noah Stormsted. And we're waiting to hear if there's any more detail about that investigation to Solov. Right now, I said provisionally Solov is the champion. If there is any penalty for the Bulgarian, that could still actually potentially drop the championship to the final round in Barcelona, but we shall see. That is something that is ongoing. We have a provisional result, and it is Barter, Solov, Kaczarczyk, Rinicella, Ho in the top 5. Then Kelstrup, Intrabuvasak, Del Pino, Nogales, and Gravland rounding out the top 10. Outside the points, T. O'Neill just missed out towards the end. Gail Julian 12th. Max Meyer was 13th ahead of Jeff Mackels. Ryabon was 15th. Theo Jensen came home 16th ahead of Ricardo Grazia. Manuel Espirito Santo was 18th ahead of Daniel Mavlyatov. Julius Dinesen rounded out the top 20. Alvaro Garcia was 21st, and the final finisher was Neil Coolin. Kirill Small pulled into the pit lane towards the end with damage. Robert De Haan was spun out. Noah Stromstedt went out by himself. And Max Markachelski and Marcus Flack were damaged in the early incident between Jesse Karasquada and Miran Pinkasov. Also got damaged in that and retired in the gravel. But for now, it's Hugh Barter at the winning driver's board. His third win of the weekend, his sixth of the season. And he is absolutely delighted, and deservedly so. Barter, meanwhile, took the fastest lap. He did so by 0.05 of a second from Solov. Those two were setting fastest laps of the race right up until pretty much the checkered flag. And congratulations from his parents and mechanics. There's the helmet and balaclava come off. And the second place driver, highest finishing rookie, and as it stands at the moment, the provisional 2022 Spanish Formula 4 champion, Nicolas Solov. As mentioned, there is an investigation regarding safety car procedure and yellow flag. And we will see what comes of that, if not before the end of this broadcast, then later on today. Hugh Barter getting congratulations to, of course, not forgetting Barter and Solov are teammates at Campos Racing. Campos Racing claimed the team's championship after race 2 today, so this is further success to take them ahead, even further ahead of MP Motorsport. And we see a replay. It was a poor start by Stromstedt. Ho initially got into a lead, with Barter just behind, slotting in second place. Barter was not going to let it go. And as drivers fought their way through the opening turn, Ho did his best to keep Barter behind, but Barter found a way past through the chicane earlier on to take the lead and didn't look back after that. But it was an incident in the final corner with Solov and Karasquada. Karasquada getting spun, and then this from Kirill Small. Or sorry, not Kirill Small, my mistake, that's Miran Pinkasov, who continued to run with his damaged car before ending up in the gravel and causing a safety car. Charchik fought hard for third place for quite a while, but couldn't really find a way past Kelstrup, and it took quite a bit of battling, and eventually he did. But Robert De Haan was getting by as well. Kelstrup was not going to let that go, and eventually the Kelstrup tipped De Haan into a spin. There was another safety car and then a restart, and Nicolas Solov forcing his way past Christian Ho to take second position. And Ho struggled with other drivers getting by as well, and as the field compressed and compacted, Kirill Small went off circuit, avoiding George Kelstrup in a curb and flying in the air. And it was instant retirement. He knew immediately that his day was done and his car was done, but it mattered little to Hugh Barter, who took the checkered flag and the win, his third win of the weekend, his sixth of the season. Not only does he add to his tally, that pretty much That extends his gap over Timothy Kaczarczyk in the standings quite significantly. So, Barter takes 26 points for the win and fastest lap. Which puts him on 250. Solov is on 331. And with 72 points remaining, the gap between the two is 81 points. Kaczarczyk came home third, takes 15 points for that, puts him on 191. Well, Rinnicella takes 12 for fourth. That puts him on 90.
Hugh, amazing race, 3 of 3 this weekend. Interesting race behind you, but you have gone your own pace. How it was?
Yeah, like I said, this was the aim for the entire weekend. We knew coming into this race that the pace was strong, and just had to put my head down at the start, get to the lead, and drive how I was driving.
What do you think about the gap with Nicola and the championship?
Yeah, obviously I knew that it was going to be really hard, and I think he had to finish lower than 5th. And when I saw in the mirror after lap 1 he was in 4th, I knew like the possibility of, you know, me still being in the fight was really low. But I always knew this, and yeah, the aim was just to do my best in the weekend.
Thank you, congratulations, and see you in Barcelona.
No worries, thank you. See ya.
So what I can tell you at this point, so Nicolas Sola provisionally is the champion of Spanish Formula 4 in 2022. He's got an 81-point gap over Hugh Barter, that's 331 to 250. Timothy Kaczarczyk is third in the standings. He has a 62-point gap over Kirill Smal, with 72 available. I can't see a scenario where Smal rings that back in. Then George Kelsom has just breached 100 points today. He's 5th in the standings. Then P6 is Rinnicella, who's on 90. He's got a 20-point gap over Zanfari, who's out for the rest of the season. Then 8th is Filip Jenik on 64. He's also out for the next round as well. Interpuvazak is a point behind Jenik on 63 points. And then you have Robert Dehaan and Gail Julien both on 58 for joint 10th, while Emmanuel Espirito Santo rounds out the top 12 with 50 points. And a solid result for Christian Ho today. He came home 5th, which takes him up the order, and is just behind Charlie Wirtz in 14th, 13th place. There is there's two separate orders effectively. There's because of course the pole man, Noah Sternschott, was not a non-point scoring figure this weekend, so I don't think he gets the points for pole position, 2 points that were handed out. As we see the rookie results on screen. But at the same time, I don't think, even though he was second in the standings, second on the grid, Christian Ho, he doesn't get those points for pole position either. And I'm not entirely sure. I think the rookie championship goes to the final round in Barcelona, but the gap there is also quite significant that Solov has over Kaczarczyk, and I do believe that's something that is going to be rounded out pretty quickly. As we see the podium, Kaczarczyk in 3rd position on the right-hand side. Solov 2nd, gets a t-shirt declaring himself champion. And the race winner, Hugh Barter, for the 3rd time this weekend. We will hear the Australian national anthem. That's in a few moments' time. We're going to get the trophies first. We should get a team representative from Campos Racing. Here he is, also wearing the champions t-shirt. Campos, of course, as I mentioned a few moments ago, the team's champion of 2022. And so we should get the trophies now. And that for Nicolas Solov. That's a trophy for the highest finishing rookie. And now it would be the team's trophy. Which goes to the Campos Racing member. My apologies, I don't actually know who it is. It's on the podium for Campos Racing. And now to the drivers. Third place for Timothée Kaczarczyk. He'll be relatively happy with that. I think he's pretty solid now. That is third place in the championship. He's too far behind Barter and probably too far ahead of Kirill Small. All he has to do in Barcelona is just bring it home, really, to be honest. Yeah, trophy bearer going to the wrong driver. That's a second place trophy for Nicolas Solov. And now the trophy for the race winner for the third time this weekend, Hugh Barter. Raises his trophy aloft. The national anthem for race winner Hugh Barter. And the caps go back on. And the drivers are being told they're going to get some photos first before they do the Campion. The non-alcoholic sticky champagne. And it does stick. It's actually it's not meant to go in your skin or your clothes. Stand still, smile, and now go for it. And congratulations all round for the top three. Well, in what has been quite a thrilling weekend of Spanish Formula 4 action, we look to the finale, the season finale in 6 weeks' time at the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona over the weekend of November 12th and 13th. The season will come to a close and we will begin to look to 2023. But for now, Nicolas Solov is the provisional Spanish Formula 4 champion. Hugh Barter has won 3 races this weekend, but it wasn't enough. But we will see some other positions decided in 6 weeks' time. Thank you for watching this weekend. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring these races to you. My name is Leo Gorman, and we will see you for the Spanish Formula 4 finale in 6 weeks. Until then, thank you.